He insists everything is fine, but I have two jobs and do all the housework, yard work, and childcare. He works part-time and comes home and play video games. Sensual encounters are always one-sided. It just seems like he's given up. He's always mad at our daughter over any little thing, and yells at her a lot, to the point where I try to keep them separated when he is home, which is easy to do because he mostly just goes into the room and plays video games. I try my best to submit to him and do everything I can to make him happy, but he's always so rude to us. I've asked him to go to the doctor, I've asked him to go to therapy, and recently I've given him an ultimatum, and nothing has changed. I feel heartbroken and devastated. Is this something I am doing wrong? I have tried all I can manage, and it's starting to take a toll on me. I feel so tired all the time and guilty for not being able to make him happy. He hates it when I cry. He says I'm just crying to make him feel guilty and that I'm playing the victim all the time. His hygiene has declined as well. He doesn't shower or brush his teeth often, so some nights the smell is so bad I sleep on the couch. I feel so alone. I hate this feeling of wanting to leave him. Because I used to love him so much, it fills my heart with sadness to think about our family splitting up. But he won't help himself, and I don't know how much more I can take. Also, it affects our daughter a lot, too. She is afraid of him and cries a lot when he is home. I am 30, he is 32, and my daughter is 6. We have been married 8 years. Original post 4 days later. I am 30, he is 32. I honestly didn't know what to title this post, so I just went straight for it. Husband got promoted at work, but it's not a paid promotion, it's mostly pro bono. But he says it could lead to a higher pay position. Anyways, he is tired all the time lately with these extra duties at work. So he's been less consistent with his hygiene. He has stopped showering as often. His diet is awful, so I think that is contributing to this issue as well. He won't touch a vegetable. He eats a lot of gas station food and a lot of fast food. It used to be that he would have really bad gas, like curl your hair badly, open every window in the house and wait outside for it to dissipate badly. He started taking pills for it, and that helped. But lately when I do the laundry, I've been noticing huge stains in his underwear. It's so disgusting. It smells awful. Sometimes I can smell it when he walks around the house or sits on something. So I stopped doing his laundry. I told him it was unacceptable and foul to walk around with so much poop on your underwear. I didn't feel comfortable sharing a bed, so he's been sleeping on the couch for 2 months. He doesn't care about showering. He doesn't seem to care about his smell. He tries to guilt me about not sleeping in the bed. But I told him it's his own fault, if he would just shower when he gets home. I tried to explain how unsanitary it is. I told him I'm lonely from lack of intimacy and not even being able to share a bed or space with him. I offered to go to the doctor with him. I asked him if he was feeling depressed. I even asked him if he would try therapy or counseling. I tried to get him to use a bidet, asked him if I could help with his paperwork at home so he would feel less burdened at work. Everything I could think of, he just brushed me off. He is insisting that I am overreacting, and that it's normal for grown men to have skid marks. He blames me for shutting him out. But I physically feel sick when I catch a whiff of him sometimes. The nail in the coffin was that he told me, "Sometimes when I fart, I press my underwear against my butt to cheek and see if it feels wet." I told him that was it. I was done. The line has been drawn and crossed. I told him I don't see how we can be intimate again because I'm so disgusted by all this. I mean, seriously, this is so childish I can't even believe it's happening to me. I'm too embarrassed to tell a soul outside my home about this, so that's why I'm venting it out here on Reddit. I feel like this is not real life right now, but I'm so lost over this. I truly care for him. I don't want to leave him. He's my husband. We have a life built together, and I can tell he is struggling with something. But if he makes absolutely no effort to fix the issue, and it's affecting both of us, it's not really fair to me. How long am I supposed to sit by while this continues? I don't even want to go home half the time because of the smell as soon as I walk in the door. The worst part is him gaslighting me about it, saying I'm imagining things, that it doesn't smell as bad as I think, that I'm making it out to be a big deal when it's not. Normally, he is very receptive to my feelings, but lately he is just acting so defensive. We have been married for 8 years, so it's just crazy to me that things can change so suddenly, and it seems like he has stopped trying altogether. I have heard that depression can do this to people, but he doesn't seem to be in bad spirits at all, just more fatigued than usual. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Don't know if it really needs to be said, but I'm a grown man and skid marks are not normal. The level of disinterest, despite you clearly voicing your concerns and offering solutions, is insane. To me, it sounds like he's a workaholic. Like work is giving him so much validation that he is neglecting anything that would take time away from work. Original poster replied, "That's an interesting perspective. I can see how that may be contributing. He does have a lot of pride in his work. Though he only works part-time, he sees the extra work as his management praising him and giving him recognition. But in reality, they are using him as a workhorse to do free work for them. He thinks this position could lead to a promotion down the line. In my opinion, they are stringing him along. However, I have kept a positive attitude. I've even offered to help him file his paperwork so that he can focus on something else. I think he does get so hyper-focused on things that he loses sight of what is important. My concern is the lack of cleanliness and lack of respect that has come about along with this work stress. And that's something that I don't know how to address. If he is refusing to talk to me, talk to a therapist, a doctor, literally anyone. But do something to fix the issue. But again, he doesn't see it as an issue, and I fear we have reached an impasse regarding it. Commenter 2, you're not overreacting. This isn't about a few skid marks or some laziness. This is an ongoing issue that is impacting your physical health, mental well-being, your home environment, and your marriage. Hygiene is a basic level of self-care and partnership. Refusing to address it when a loved one is clearly upset and affected isn't normal behavior. It's neglectful, dismissive, and honestly, disrespectful. And no, it's not normal for grown men to walk around with soiled underwear that makes the house smell. That's not just unclean, it's potentially a sign of a medical or mental health issue, whether that's depression, burnout, or something else entirely. The gaslighting telling you you're the one imagining things or making a big deal out of it is especially concerning. That's emotional manipulation, and it chips away at your sense of reality and self-worth. You're allowed to have boundaries. You're allowed to say, "This is not okay." Original poster replied, "Right. This is how I feel. I understand he's having a hard time. He's clearly struggling with something. I've offered numerous ways I can think to help him. If he doesn't want to talk to me, fine. Talk to a therapist, talk to a doctor, talk to anyone. Just address the issue and get help." However, he doesn't see it as an issue, and that's where I feel disrespected. If you are okay sleeping on the couch for 2 months away from your wife, that's obviously an issue to take seriously. Commenter 3. Not overacting. Not a doctor. The diet, attitude, showering, hygiene, fatigue all point to depression IMO. I only say that as a person with depression who has to consciously eat good food, get good rest, not miss a day showering, keep good habits. It's an easy slope to start down because it requires conscious effort to do them sometimes. No, it's not normal for skid marks at the level you describe. It's not normal you can smell someone. That's neglect of self-care or something worse, especially at 32. He's a young man. What can you do? Not much more than you are, unfortunately. Only he can fix him. How long should you tolerate it? As long as you feel it's sustainable, you haven't crossed any non-negotiables. Unfortunately for you, he needs to decide he needs help and to change. You're clearly telling him, and he isn't seeing or hearing. He needs a trigger that is going to help him see and hear what's going on, which could be you separating. I get you love him, care for him, want to help him. That's important to his healing. But for you, the decision is, where does supporting him stop and enabling him start? Not saying you are part of the problem, saying that in terms of when do you say enough is enough and he has to sort his own mess out and you won't sell yourself and your own standards and health out for him. Additional information from original poster of responding to common questions from the comments. Hi, thank you for everyone reaching out to comment and all the helpful advice. I have seen a few questions come up I can answer. How do his coworkers not smell him? He is a parts delivery driver. He is alone in his truck for most of the day. Contacts with coworkers is usually done over the phone. He works part-time some weeks less than 20 hours. With the added work responsibilities, he is closer to full-time work. The extra work is mainly filing paperwork at home in his office and sending emails. So, no coworkers around to smell him. He is not the breadwinner. I also work inside and outside the home. So I don't believe it is financial stress that is causing these problems. Can you reach out to his family? His mother passed away about 6 years ago. He wasn't very close with her, and he has an estranged relationship with his biological father and a half-brother he's only met once. No other family to speak of. Is this an issue he has had before? We dated briefly when we were teenagers. He was a typical smelly teenage boy with body odor, but nothing obscene or excessive as far as I could tell. We broke up when he moved to a different state, and a few years later, in our early 20s, reconnected and hit it off. He was always moderately well-dressed and maintained. Over the years, he has gone through phases where he will shower less frequently, but never to the extent of this going so long between showers. I never noticed him having incontinence before. He is not overweight, he's always been slim. It started with the bad gas and progressed into the issue of him having frequent diarrhea and now him soiling his pants. Is IBS something you can develop later in life? His diet has always been poor, so maybe years of eating badly has caught up to him. Combined with the lack of washing regularly. Is he an alcoholic or use drugs? No, neither of us use drugs. We don't smoke or vape, and only drink socially once or twice a month, not to excess. Commenter 3. This sounds like signs of male depression to me. If he doesn't want to help himself, it's not your job to be his mom. Original poster replied, I agree I don't want to be pushed around and I certainly don't want to be his mother. But I did make a vow in sickness and health. We have been together 8 years and we have been through some hard times, but we've always worked together as a team and come out all right. In this instance, it's different because he's blatantly and flat out refusing to do anything to help himself. And I feel helpless and guilty for having to consider giving him an ultimatum if he won't change his ways. Update next day. Thank you to everyone who replied with advice and kind words. I reached out to his father. That is about the only family he has. I told him I was really worried about his son. Asked if he could please call him and check on him. I told him he may need to go to the doctor, but he is resisting. His dad asked for details, and so I told him what was going on. He was baffled. He said I was making a huge deal about nothing, and that he could not believe I was making him sleep on the couch over that. He was very harsh, and I ended up getting off the phone feeling terrible. He was absolutely no help. I am getting myself into therapy to work through this with whatever happens moving forward. I have done a lot of thinking on this for the last few days, especially reading through everyone's comments. I honestly don't know what will happen from this point, but I do know that things won't continue this way. Top comments, commenter 1. And along with all the other good points already raised, I just have to marvel. He's right now focused on angling for another promotion to a higher paid position? Unless he's a maintenance worker in the sewers, smelling like hell all the time is going to be a real barrier to further professional advancement. Original poster replied, Delivery driver, he works alone. Coworker communication is via call or email. Commenter 2. Honey, I am begging you, please raise your standards. I am on my knees like I'm proposing in a thunderstorm. You should not, under any circumstances, be begging a grown-ass man to wipe his ass and take a goddamn shower. This isn't love. This is you mothering a man who has fully embraced becoming a sentient skid mark. There is no coming back from this. The second a man looks you dead in the eye and says, Sometimes I fart and press my underwear to my ass to check for wetness. It's not just over, it's buried. The coffin is shut, nailed, blessed by a priest and lowered into the ground. And now he's gaslighting you? Saying you're the problem? You who has tried everything, offered therapy, help with work, literal B-Day suggestions like you're the hygiene fairy? Girl, you're not overreacting. You're underreacting. You're in hell. The smell is the sulfur. He's a delivery driver, alone, in his own funk pod, which means you are the only person who has to suffer this daily and the only one he feels zero shame around. That's not intimacy. That's weaponized comfort. And the fact that his dad doesn't think it's a big deal just confirms this is a multi-generational hygiene crime. Divorce isn't just an option here. It's a disinfectant. Please, you are not crazy. You are not asking too much. You're asking for the bare goddamn minimum: soap and self-respect. You deserve to be loved, not gagged every time your husband enters the room. Raise your standards so high that this kind of mess can't even reach you with a ladder. Commenter. 3. Does he drive a private truck? What does he deliver? Because surely if these trucks are going back to a hub, other drivers are going to be driving them the next day. If it's anything possibly food-related, this could be a huge liability for his job. No job wants pigpen people representing them. This is wildly unsanitary, which you obviously know. I would honestly call the business anonymously and complain. They would take this seriously and look into it. Maybe if he gets a warning at work, he will take his personal hygiene more seriously. You're not overreacting, and you don't need therapy. You need a divorce from the poopy pants toddler. Perhaps if you get the wheels in motion, he will take it more seriously. I couldn't live with that for a week, much less months of him sleeping on the couch. It's not something grown men deal with all the time, but there's certainly too many that use that as a defense about being disgusting. One would be too many. Update, I'm here. Yeah, I took the post down. The amount of hate mail I was getting was insane, so this will be the last update. I've decided to get a divorce. Some comments. Read the original post and someone urged her to leave, and she said she needs to respect her marriage vows, in sickness and in health. Ma'am, in sickness and in health. Sure, but not in poopy underpants. Somebody said, I'm a firm believer that in sickness and in health only counts when the sick person is actively trying to manage their illness. If your spouse has cancer and you leave because you think your wife is no longer a real woman due to a hysterectomy, then you are an asshole. If you leave because your spouse thinks shitting their pants and not showering is perfectly fine and you're the problem for disagreeing, and they refuse to go to a GI doctor to check for IBS, or a neurologist to check for a brain tumor, or a psychiatrist because they might be suffering a mental break, then you are taking care of your own mental health by avoiding a very odd type of abuse. Somebody said, "Loyal, this is a trip for me. When I was an alcoholic and super depressed, I let my hygiene slip in similar ways. I was living completely alone, though, and I always showered and changed if a fart betrayed me. I knew I was doing wrong. I knew I was being disgusting. I don't know how he can have a woman who cares point it out and still ignore it." A commenter replied, "Yeah, there's definitely something going on with the husband. Most likely something bad. And a drastic move has to be made with this sudden shift after 8 years of marriage with no warning. Still, this is so damn bizarre that I can't read this without my head spinning. I'm not a praying man, but man, I would absolutely pray for this woman because WTF." A commenter replied, "Thank you. Everyone blaming this on depression was driving me up the wall. I've had depression pretty much since I hit my tweens. I've had some pretty down times over the years, times when I couldn't drag myself out of bed, when I skipped all my college classes, times when I didn't shower or wash my hair for far too long. But in 30 years, I have never, ever failed to wipe my own butt clean. And while I'm not a dude with gastrointestinal issues, I am a woman with endometriosis. That means I have gnarly, painful periods and horribly painful period poops. I always manage to clean up the blood and the poo, even with postpartum period, when I was dropping giant blood clots and crap, because the postpartum period is absolutely disgusting and messy and no one warns you how bad it will be, and I had to hurry to get off the toilet to take care of a crying, colicky baby while sleep-deprived. I still managed to wipe my butt. And you know what? If I ever had gotten close to being as gross as this dude, my husband would have been right to call me out in my depression and to tell me that he couldn't stay with me if I refused to try anything to get better. This dude is actively choosing not to clean himself up and not to get help. He's torturing her on purpose.